I want to give a shout out to Frankie because while all this stuff is going on earlier, she had asked me about America, Hollywood, and New York. So it's real amazing that we were talking about that. So shout out to Frankie, and then all of a sudden the news stuff comes out about Russia, which I've been talking about for, only the Lord be with me knows for the longest. So America is, what we have to understand is that Babylon, Sodom and Gomorrah, we got Babylon, Sodom and Gomorrah, even during the Tower of Babel. We have Egypt. All of these countries, all right, back then were a representation of sexual immorality, murder, crime, corruption, and corruption within God's word. All right, so that's what we see. I mean, there was just a lot of stuff going on, the DNA changing, a lot of this stuff even in Noah's time. So this stuff was going on, and that's when it got destroyed. So we see Egypt, and the scriptures say that they shall be brought back into Egypt again, but by ships with oaks around their neck, and then da-da-da-da-da. Now, what we see is that Egypt has been split. How has it been split? Because the moral countries that have pushed a lot of the stuff that we see other countries do has been England and has been America. All right, those two obelisks that represented, which is a shaft of a man, and written on them are symbols that mean words and phrases. They'll tell you something else. All right, those have been taken, one downtown London, the other one in Central Park of New York City. So as you see, as it was in Egypt and in Babylon, we see America has become. When it pushes a law or an attribute to something, other countries and states follow. New York City, the financial capital of the world. Whatever goes on here is manipulated throughout of the world in other countries. As soon as they passed the gayism and all that other stuff, other countries followed suit. Now the scriptures state they shall drink of her iniquities. Yes, America is what it is. New York City is Babylon. Why? Because this is the place that you come to where actually being immoral is 1,000% correct. And then if you're talking intelligently and acting morally and God ethically, I shall say, then guess what? Something is wrong with you. You're crazy. And if you look around at all the other states, for those who are in America, all of the other cities and states in this country, New York City is the only one that they start passing laws at. And then other states follow, and other countries follow. And now they're pushing the mental health issue law. All right, that's where nonprofit organizations can make more money. Now, you have to understand this is an ongoing thing. All right, so America is the Babylon, all right, and New York City is the whore of Babylon, because I can understand other countries and other cities being what they are and who they are, but out here, when it happens, it is actually moralized into a law that a lot of us know spiritually is not correct, but other countries and states accept it because in order to do business with us, you have to accept these immoral laws. So this is what my beautiful country that my people were bond servants for has become. So we see that America plays a big role when it comes to the prophecies. All right, because it is the mystery Babylon. Now, if it wasn't the mystery Babylon, we would have heard the disciple John state that Babylon over by Syria through the Euphrates River, da-da-da-da-da, but we don't hear that. He said mystery Babylon because this land was a mystery to him. They wrote as what they saw. What we see is that there were two Paul Peters. Simon was a sorcerer. He was the one who started up. the daggone Catholic religion. Now, if you go look at the scripture when Paul was writing the letters to Rome and everybody, he was still in Rome. Like, he didn't even, I mean, boom. So I would like to know, they were there at two different times when all this stuff was happening, but nobody reads the scripture. Nobody reads the scripture. When we sit down, we see all the Jehovah's Witnesses fashion and do all this other stuff. No, let me tell you about the 144,000. The 144,000 that's in the Bible were 12,000. I'm going to call them monks. Christian, newborn, again, believing in the Messiah monks. Because they didn't drink, smoke, or sleep with anybody. And the scriptures state, what Yeshua showed me, is that when John asked him, who are all these millions? Those are the Hebrew children that came out of the 144,000. So the 144,000 are the ones that were pure. They didn't drink, smoke, they didn't have sex, they didn't do anything. They concentrated. Those are the ones that you see. Those are the ones that History Channel sits down and deceives you and says there was a bunch of them and they found these tablets and all these little scrolls that verify the truth. They were the ones that were doing the baptisms and all that stuff. They were the ones that were the messy, they call them the Gnostic, the Gnostic or Messianic Gnostic, the priests back then. Those were them that passed on the word that as it kept going. So the 144,000 for all the Jehovah's Witnesses, they have already passed and gone. We're the ones that came out of them, all right? And then John goes back and then jumps back to something else. So understand that. It's not 144,000 only going to make it to heaven, and you got that wrong. Understand that Magog and Gog is a region, and in those regions, those people have a certain personality and they're a certain kind of people. So he gives you a description of who they are. And who are they? They are the Khazars, which are the Ashkenazi, and all of them. And when was the last time that you looked at one of the Hasidic Orthodox Jews? Look how big their hands are and how big they are people. They were the ones that were renting out 20,000 of their army to the Muslims, to the Romans that took over the Christian religion and turned it into an army and did all that other stuff. They were renting those armies to them. And they had to make a decision of what to do, and they went with the Judaism thing. They've already had the market and the trade and the merchants and everything on lockdown up in that region up there in Russia. That's why they stayed in Russia for 500 years and fooled them. But you guys don't do the history. Now there's come a time that the money and the manipulation part has separated the world, that we're in a time of Russia not wanting to confide, because those banks that these same people own, that he's not going to deal with them. So it turns into a financial battle. Now that financial battle, they can't see the spiritual thing. They're more worried about the money and the greed and all this other stuff. So if you get a whole bunch of greedy people that's doing something in one region, then you have what's going on. That's why you pay attention to the Middle East and to Israel and all this other stuff. You pay attention to that. But then over here is when everything happens, and that's when you get the resurrection, because by the time all this stuff really starts popping off, we'll already be gone just in then. But this is the reason why America has been saved, because this is where the Hebrew nation people have been. Nobody sees it. And in other countries that have been saved. Just do the math. All right? Yes. Hollywood. I want to definitely talk about Hollywood. Hollywood is the biggest witchery, sorcery box in the world. For all of you guys that walk in and go get your little palms read and look at the crystal ball, you don't have to. Go to Hollywood. That's the Wizard of Oz. That's it right there. So this box is the sorcery. It is the illusion. It pushes the paganism. It pushes the belief. And it's all done at the fascists in the same name of the people that own the banks, the people that call themselves Ashkenazi. So now that you get the picture, this is what the sorcery box is. When you go out to go see a musician and he does a trick, what his job is to give you an illusion and a perception of something that actually doesn't exist. That is to fool you. So it entertains you because he just tricked you. He gave you an illusion of something that didn't exist. This right here does it on a bigger scale, where it gives you an illusion of perception to make you and conform your personality, to make you want to eat or buy or spend more to confide you into believing that this style and this look is what's in because this is what they're doing. That is what Hollywood is. That is its job. It is the pushing emotion and the mood. Example, back in the mafia, when the mafia started getting started and the KKK started getting started really big, there was a separation with the whites. So the KKK liked no anybody except unless they were pure white. No Jews, no minorities, no nothing. So with them damn near like ruining America and getting all this stuff started, the Jews knew that they had to do something, all right? The fake Jews knew that they had to do something. So what they do, they used Hollywood. They went to the sorcery box, all right? And they manipulated the sorcery box by showing movies of the mafia, you know, fighting the KKK, killing them off, doing all this stuff and how big and bad they were. And then they show more movies glorifying the mafia, making the mafia stronger than them with views, by thus making them the KKK weaker, because it caused a sway toward them in what their hatred was and what they were doing. So they conformed the whole nation through these movies against the daggone KKK. If you go back to the World War II thing, all right, they used the media back then to go. And this is how the media is used. The leaflets and all, it's a psychological warfare. So if you can control somebody psychologically by manipulating what they see, what they believe in, which is like Facebook page, the wall, and all this other stuff, then you can sway an audience to do what you want to. You can control them. I've asked people who were immigrants that came over here, why do you hate blacks so much? They said because a white person came and gave me 3 movies, and in every movie the black person was a thief, a drug addict, or this and third. So that's what my belief was of American black. And this has been going on. There's been a separation, and you can best believe that guy will probably take some of the and I hate to say it like this, some people that you would look at, and this is the truth, and you would be like, this person cannot be that person because they look all bummy, they look like this, they look like that. But those is like probably the biggest blessing, because that's the greatest deceit, that you would never think would be somebody like that when it actually is. Look at John, he ate locusts. He probably looked like one of the bums that we see on the train, sitting on the side, sleeping on thing with the back. He probably was those people and then just babbling on, prophesying. But to us, we looking like, oh my God, he's dirty, something's wrong with him, because that's the least person that we would think. So you can't be judgmental. Look at what's going around you. Try to sit down and ask for discernment, and don't look at a TV show or something for what it is, so it confides you. Too many people are watching reality shows, wanting to be a part of a reality show so they can lose their character and what they actually are and play themselves. Like, are you serious? How can you watch or listen to a song, and of course it might fit to how you feel, but it doesn't mean that you have to continue with that emotion, because that's what it is. It's to sway your emotion. So now you're extra depressed over a song that somebody sang when they was depressed long ago. I mean, are you serious? Now Adele song makes you depressed, it makes you want to kill yourself, or makes you want to do this, that, and the third, but she's happy married with a kid, and she's just thinking about something that happened way back then. She ain't even thinking about it no more. Do the math. Alright? It's just plain. So it is what it is. You guys are never going to get the full news. Hopefully every time I get something hot, I'll drop it to you about what's going on in the world. For all of those who are stuck on drama and what's going on right around you, try to let go and concentrate more on God and getting rid of all the bad and starting over anew. I gave up a whole bunch and started over anew. And God, Yeshua, my angels, nobody has never let me down since. And it was the best decision I've ever made. So if I can do it, I know you guys can too. Peace and love in the name of Yeshua and the Most High Yahweh.